Hello everyone, I'm Joe Zagacki and welcome to Hurricane Game Day with women's head basketball coach Katie Meier. Josh Darrow also joins me coming up in a second. And on the show today, the Canes keep working their way up in the ACC and the rankings. Coach Meier joins us in the studio to talk Miami Hurricanes women's basketball. We'll take a look at some of this season's highlights in unlimited access, and the players tell us what it's like to play at the U. Don't go anywhere. Hurricane Game Day starts right now.
Good. Nice, good. Where's the shooter? Oh, yeah! Miami!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hurricane Game Day. Joe Zagacki with University of Miami head coach Katie Meier and Josh Darrow as we talk University of Miami women's basketball. The Hurricanes tonight taking on the Florida State Seminoles at the Bank United Center, and the Hurricanes playing great basketball. Josh Darrow with us and head coach Katie Meier. And coach, congratulations so far in the season. Big game tonight, but you are right there in contention.
Well, yeah, and that's a nice feeling to have, and something that just every time we win a big game, I just think we get more narrow in our focus, and we just we're keeping things very small and limiting our scope and what we're worrying about. And I think that's really helped this team because they're just very businesslike.
It's a good thing I'm not on the team. I'm going to broaden the scope here for a second. Highest ranking since 1992. Right. You're 13th. You're top 15. That's got to be. I don't know how you manage those kind of accolades during the season, because I know you want to be focused on the prize. But still, when you step back for a second, you've got to take a great deal of pride in what you've done to get there.
You know, I am enjoying it. We're having fun, and my sister's in town, and I was watching film this morning, and she heard me just laughing, and she's like, "Do you think all the coaches just laugh with their team like you do?" And I said, I don't know, but I do love this team. Like, they're hilarious. So we're enjoying the process. I'm proud of them. I love what they're doing. But it's not. We are so not concerned about those rankings, and I know every coach says that, but it helps. It sure helps their confidence. It puts more pressure on us, and you guys know me well enough to know I love pressure. I want it. So yeah, 13. Okay. Well, we need to back that up, and if that's what helps me get more focused, then I'll use it.
I was waiting for the but. I was like, oh, it's not gonna. There's gonna be no but there. We're good. No, we're not really looking.
The other great thing about your squad, there are many. It was a week ago you were on the road at Boston College, and you're behind in that game. I don't know, 5 or 6 points. Next thing I know, you're up by 10 points in that game. So maybe it's a two-part question. One, talk a little bit about the way you were able to take apart Boston College, and also why you're having so much success winning on the road.
The road thing, I think, is all about chemistry and poise, and I really do believe, our starters play a lot of minutes together, and we're getting away with it, and it's something that I think makes us very special, but it also makes us a little vulnerable. But as it stands right now, they're playing a ton of minutes, and they just can. I don't have to call as many timeouts on the road, I think, as other coaches do. I can just kind of look at them, and I see they're communicating, and they're looking up at the scoreboard, and they know, and they're talking time and score the whole game. That comes from minutes playing together, and they're very tight, and they get it. So, and then our subs come in, and when our subs come in, our starters elevate their game because they realize that we have to now bring these people along. So they take a little bit of focus off themselves, and they take care of the bench. And so that formula is definitely working, and it's helped me on the road. There's a time in Boston College I almost called a timeout, and I looked out there and I said, what am I going to tell them? They already know what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to save this timeout for late game.
That's got to be pretty comforting for you to know that not only your starters can log heavy minutes, but that you don't have to worry about calling the tee, bringing them over, getting them fired up, that they can they can police themselves and handle their own business.
Well, the manic style we play matches my manic personality, but we are so reliant on runs that stoppages don't always help us. So, Boston College, it was wildfire. I've never seen anything like it. We were down at half. I talked to them pretty sternly at halftime, and then we ignited, and it was just, we started a half, and you see it happening, and you don't want anything to stop it. So that's sort of, we have that potential, and so one of the tough parts about coaching this team, and the greatest part about coaching this team, is that you have to sit there and sort of wait and guess that it might be about to happen, and so you kind of have to let it go, and that's what we do a lot. But that takes, my veteran players are so smart too, and I'm able to kind of ride those storms.
Coach, is all of that because your team is bought into the style, and you have something to hang your hat on, and right. When it gets a little bit tough, that sooner or later your style, the pressure, the steals, the running is going to take over a game.
We do find our window, and we're very expectant of that. I don't think we play that way. We don't play reckless. We're not completely desperate for that to happen. But if it does happen, it definitely fuels us. And then I've bought into them. Yeah. Them buying into my style is one thing, but I have completely bought into them.
Well, this style certainly has led to a great season for the University of Miami. Continues to be a great one for Coach Meier and her squad. Many wins and many great plays. Here's a look at some of them.
It's all about the you.
It's all about the you.
It's all about the you.
The you.
It's all about the you.
Well, you can see from those highlights, it's very exciting, and this is not a fluke. You've put together a squad that's got a lot of confidence and a lot of talent, and playing smart as well.
Right, and I think it starts with Shanice Johnson. I think that you don't know what position she plays. You don't know when you're playing against us how we're going to use her as our weapon. You don't know if we're going to post her up. You don't know if she's going to be shooting a three that night. You don't know if she's going to take you off the dribble. I think Raquana Williams is just an amazing scorer, and her second half at Boston College is so unexpected. She had 2 points at halftime, and we weren't in a panic about it, but when she brought 24 or whatever, 22 in the second half, we're like, oh yeah, we can be really good if she scores that much. So that's one of the things about our team. We're not just relying on those two kids, but when they elevate their game, when the game's on the line, they have a will about them that just, they're very stubborn, and it's a great quality.
Speak about Shanice for a second. You said, her versatility, and looking at some of the numbers, only player in the ACC, top 10 points, rebounding, assists. That clearly states that she can do a lot of different things on the floor for you.
Right, and the ACC is no joke.
No.
I mean, she's not doing it against weak competition. She's had 2 30-point games this year. We needed every one of those 30 points in order to win, and that's what's different about Shanice. When we're winning by a lot, there's a couple times in her career where I've said, hey, you go back in there, get a couple rebounds, you get a double-double, and she goes, I don't do that, coach. Like, don't do that, I don't do that. That doesn't matter to her. But when we need 30 points from her to win a game, or we need 15 rebounds from her to win a game, she's going to do it for Miami to win. And that's why I think she's one of the best players in the country.
Coach, how much of the success this year was born out of some of the tough times that your players had the first couple of years?
I think so much of the fun is born out of that. And I think when you're having fun, you're so committed to something because you're so protective of the success. You're so excited that it's all paying off that you don't want to blow it. And we're seriously in that mode where it's like, this is so great. We know the flip side of it. And so now that we're here, we appreciate it so much. There's no one who's taken anything for granted, and the ride has been great. No
question. You never know when that magic carpet's going to show up at your front door. All right, we are just getting warmed up on the show. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll talk more hoops with Coach Meier, and the players tell us what it's like to play basketball for the U. Hurricane Game Day on CSS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day here on CSS. Coach Meier and her squad are one of the best teams in the country. The reason is simple: hard work and great leadership on and off the court. While success is usually measured in wins, these young women need more than just coaching.
Coach Meier, she is a great woman. I love her. I can't explain the things she do for me on and off the court. She's more than just a coach, and then when you walk off the court, she's nowhere to be found or nothing like that. She's like a motherly figure, and I really respect her. She has been there for so many people on this team, and she is a great woman, and I respect her for that.
She's meant a lot. Like, a lot of the stuff that I learned these past 2 years, I probably wouldn't have learned earlier in my years, but I'm glad I know now, like, about being more controlled on the court, slowing down, like, but I really like her mentality and her giving me the information that I need to know.
Coach to me is like a second mom. I mean, when it comes to basketball, she's gonna be hard on you because, you know, that's her life. But off the court, she's someone you can go to, talk to if you have any problems.
The best thing is just waking up every morning knowing that I have an opportunity to play for Katie Meier and like just be around a supportive family and don't worry about having to be judged and like in negative ways, like just ways that's gonna make me better and being challenged.
She's really enthusiastic. I just love being around her. She's a fantastic person. Like she's there to talk to you about anything other than basketball. I mean, she tries to throw in jokes sometimes. Don't be funny, but I mean, it's funny to me because she's different. She's funny in any kind of way. But other than that, I just like being around her. She's a really good person.
Miami is a, you know, it's a remote place. I mean, we're an end spot. You don't go drive through Miami on your way to somewhere else. And so a lot of the players that we recruit, there's a certain understanding that we're going to mean a little bit more to each other. You know, they're going to mean a little bit more to me, and I'm going to mean a little bit more to them. A couple players can go home for the weekend, but only a couple. And we have players from Alaska that, you know, Sylvia, that I just love. But, and a lot of the, because they chose Miami, they're often kind of independent and in their own sense. That choosing us means you're an adventurer, you're going to get away, you stand on your own, you have a great deal of confidence in yourself, and I kind of like that. So we're a good blend. I don't feel like I have to have them over to my house every night to make sure they're okay. I mean, they're independent kids, but at the same time, I think that there's a little bit deeper of a relationship than just player-coach.
Well, a really good example of that there's more to coaching than the scoreboard. That's got to be a great thrill for you, or how rewarding is it? You might have a conversation with one of your players and maybe you say to yourself, they got it. And I just maybe it helped them become a little bit of a better person today. Yeah, I mean, that segment there just means as much to me as any win this season. I mean, that's, you know, you're very rare in life that you're judged by wins and losses, you know, but my own definition of success is, you know, are we getting through to them? And are they becoming better people under our watch and under our care? And it's me and my staff. You know, they talk about me, but when they say me, they mean the entire staff. Special group of people, and some special things are really happening here. Yeah, I think most teams try and take on that family approach, but right. You know, you said something in there about that you don't drive through Miami, unless you're going down the Key West. It's right. Not the only time you drive through Miami. So it's really, when you start picking people off from other parts of the country, this does really become right. Their home. I mean, this takes on, it really does seem to take on a different meaning here. What kind of things do you, did get you from, did you know that from day one, or is that sort of evolved? I did not know that from day one, and I think that's something that you learn from other programs and other coaches here at Miami. You know, we talk about we're the U, and I think so much of it is we are here all together. You know, we are one little group of people in a very remote place that is very special, has a ton of flavor and a ton of advantages. But we also know, as all the head coaches know, that we do have to have an extra level of concern and care for our people, because most of them are from far away. I mean, it's normal. Sometimes you don't know how you touch one of the kids' lives until after they're gone. Maybe they come back 3 or 4 years later and say, Coach, you know, you taught me a lesson when I was a junior, but you might not know about it until they're 25 or 26 years old. I know, and that's what's neat about this group. We are very authentic. We share everything in the moment. And that's a level of maturity that people don't understand. For young people to say that in front of a camera, whoever they're talking about, whatever adult they're talking about, that takes a certain confidence and maturity and poise just to be able to share that about somebody at the ages that they're at. So, but that's kind of how we're doing it here. I mean, everything's in the moment. The communication's very honest, and that we don't waste time. You know, we don't write letters to each other. It's we're going straight at you. You know, and you know, if you need information to be great, you're going to get it from our staff. And if we're wrong as coaches, they will come. Shanice came to me at a timeout at Boston College. She said, that was a bad call, Coach. I'm like, you're right. It was horrible. It was a horrible call. I'm sorry I did that to you, Mo. I mean, that's just how we go. At least you also know with Crystal Saunders that you might need to work on your routine a little bit. Yeah, I know. I'm going to fight her on that one. You're on stage comedy. I am funny. I am funny. You crack me up. I am funny. And all the things we're talking about, these are things that you're going to have to call on here down the stretch. A big game with Florida State,
Right.
a couple of other big games in the conference, as well as the ACC tournament still ahead.
Right, and I've coached other teams at other places and everything where, you know, the coach is demanding things from the players and saying, you have to do this in order to win. But they're asking us, what do we need to do to win? How do we beat Florida State? How do we handle this? And that's what makes this team special, is that I'm not finding them and begging them to come in for extra shooting or extra scout. They're asking, do you have a minute? I really want to watch that play again. That's what makes us special.
I was about to say, when you start getting your players coming to you,
Right.
when they want to learn on their own, when they want to get better on their own, when it's coming from within instead of having to pull from the outside,
Right.
either you know you have the right kid or you know that they've kind of matured and grown up.
Well, they're allowed to put pressure on the coaches too. And I'll say that again. The players in this program are allowed to put pressure on the coaches and say, hey, you know, why are we doing this play? Why would, you know, because they're going to make us better, and they want to know the answers. They just don't. They're not robots. They want to know, well, why are you going to make me put all this pressure on the ball? You know, show me. I'll say, well, here's what so-and-so did to her. And then they understand the whole game plan. And once they understand it and they bought in, and then it's theirs.
And finally, there'll be fire on both sides of the floor tonight with Florida State.
Well, gosh, yeah, a lot on the line. Awesome team. They're awesome, and they've been awesome for, you know, the last 3 or 4 years in the conference. They've only lost like 6 times. I mean, they're really a high-level team, and we want to beat them.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. By the way, Miami and Florida State, the Bank United Center tonight. Good chance to see the Hurricanes. Don't go anywhere. When Hurricane Game Day continues, we'll talk more University of Miami basketball right here on CSS. And welcome back to Hurricane Game Day here on CSS. Joining us now is Andrea Foley. Andrea is an athletic academic advisor at the U. And welcome to the show, Andrea.
Thanks. Thank you.
You have a very, very important role because without good grades, there's
Yes.
no basketball.
That's right. You know, it's really my pleasure to work with these girls. I know we talked to Coach Meier beforehand, and she talked about their maturity and their stubbornness and their confidence, and that definitely carries over in the classroom. So it's been great, really.
I got to imagine as a student athlete, there's got to be such a great deal of dedication, organization, because I mean, I went to school, I didn't play any sports, it was hard enough as it was. Now
Yes.
throw on games and practice time and travel, I've got to imagine that it's got to be a pretty regimented system. And there's got to be a lot of passion and dedication behind the student to want to keep their grades up and maintain their academic status.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a lot of programs in place really to assist with that balance and really the transition when they start from high school to college. Part of my job is to have weekly meetings with the girls, proactive meetings. So it's all about prioritizing, because once we do that, then the balance and, you know, the rest of it kind of follows, and that's how we get it going.
I don't know if people really understand how much time
Yes.
the kids have to dedicate to their studies and also balance it with practice and playing. And then, of course, you got to throw travel in there.
Right.
So time management really becomes very important, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Prioritizing and time management. Study hall alone, the girls spend 8 hours a week. And that's on top of travel, and that's practice and class in the morning. So when I see them, it's usually in the later hours in the evening, and they're exhausted. But it's about picking it up. They know what they need to do, and they know what they need to do to stay eligible academically is put the effort into the classroom, and they do.
Well, you're a former athlete,
Yes.
right? 400 meter, 400 meter
400
hurdles
meter hurdler.
at South Florida.
At USF.
USF.
Yes.
Okay, so you could probably connect with them really
Absolutely.
well because not only are you telling them, you've experienced it and lived through it yourself.
Right, and I think that's a big part of building that connection, and that needs to happen in order to encourage and in order to motivate. And that needs to happen, you know, they're tired, it's balance, it's getting back after a late night Thursday and going to class at 8 a.m., but they know that, hey, I've done it too, it can be done, you know, I have both degrees, undergrad and graduate, and I'm here to push them to get the same thing.
Also, it's very important to the University of Miami. Graduation rate is something the University of Miami is very proud of in all sports, football, basketball, baseball. So that's a motivator. But what are some of the things that the university does to support the players as well?
Well, I think a big part of it is our faculty, and the professors here are fantastic. And we, it's not only, I've worked at schools before where they're like a number in the classroom, and here the class size is just helping them tremendously. I mean, it's a face to a name. The teachers are excited about their successes, and it's just this family atmosphere, and I think that really contributes to it.
Now, in your role, do you play the role of tutor also? Like, do you have to be this Mrs. Smarty Pants and know everything, or are you just organizational?
Yes.
And there's other people to help out with
Absolutely.
Their expertise in the whatever classes they're taking.
Absolutely. I'm not about to sit and try and do chemistry and college algebra on a Monday night, but we can set them up with what they need. If it's a tutor before a big test, or if it's something to sit and do math problems with every night, we can assist with that.
You mentioned earlier, like Coach Meier, that they're stubborn, but they're competitive. And I would imagine, since they're competitive, then they want to compete almost against themselves to make sure they get the highest score possible.
Absolutely, and a few of them are in the similar classes because they have to have the same morning class schedule in order to get to practice in the afternoon. And yeah, you can definitely see that with projects or exam grades and things.
I was going to say, we've talked about travel and studying and games. We actually left out, there's also class.
Class.
Yeah. So it's class in the morning, practice in the afternoon, weight training in there somewhere.
Yes.
Then you study.
Then it's study hall. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a long day.
It is a long day, yes.
All right, well, you're doing a great job, Andrea.
Thanks.
Got a great group of kids to work with, and they're having lots of success. Thanks so much for being with us on the show. When we come back, Josh and I will take a look at the Hurricanes matchup against Florida State as we continue with Hurricane Game Day with University of Miami head coach Katie Meier right here on CSS. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day with University of Miami head coach Katie Meier, Joe Zagacki, Josh Darrow. Hurricanes at home tonight, Bank United Center against Florida State. Should be quite a matchup, a battle as the ACC, one of the top spots in the ACC on the line here.
Well, you're playing your rival, Florida State. You're playing for an NCAA tournament bid. I mean, they're in, but seeding, and then you're playing for a possible bye in the NCAA tournament. And they lost to Florida State up in Tallahassee. So there's a lot on the line. They come back home to play Florida State. Miami's undefeated at home. Should be a huge game.
Hurricanes a year ago defeated Florida State at home, and right now the projections have the University of Miami women's team a number 3 seed, maybe sneak into a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, but they are breaking through this year. That's going to do it for this week's show. Be sure to join us next week as we talk more Hurricane basketball with University of Miami women's head coach Katie Meier. For Josh Darrow and Katie Meier, I'm Joe Zagacki, and we'll see you next week right here on CSS. So long, everybody.
It's all about the you.
It's all about the you.
It's all about the you.
The you.
It's all about the you.